Need your daily fix on mixed martial arts?
We're going to kind of recap Bellator 155 from UFC 198.
Who's who?
Kind of a controversial decision.
And who's not?
I couldn't figure out why, and then it hit me.
Well, don't you fret, because Golden State Media Concepts got you covered. Get your daily dose of MMA podcasts. Everything from the UFC, Bellator Fighting Championships, Extreme Cage Fighting, Invicta Fighting Championships, and so much more. Join us as we talk about some of the biggest names in mixed martial arts. We've got you covered here on Golden State Media Concepts MMA Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Golden State Media Concepts Mixed Martial Arts Podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and I got my main man, William, with me today again.
Hello.
All right, William. So, we are finishing up International Fight Week, and all I have to say is nothing caps off International Fight Week like the sale of the UFC.
Yeah, it's been reported on in the past few weeks, and finally came to fruition. Despite everything that the company had to say about it, they sold to WME and IMG and just huge conglomerate groups for $4 billion.
$4 billion for the sale of the UFC. Dana kind of denied that for a long time. So we're going to touch on a little bit more about the sale of the UFC. We're also going to talk about a number of the fights that went down over this weekend, capping off International Fight Week with UFC 200, and we'll talk about the main event for the Ultimate Fighter finale as well. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Okay, we're back, and William and I were just kind of talking a little bit about the news that the UFC has been sold for $4 billion, which was at the very end of International Fight Week. That's the cherry on the top of the Sunday of all the crazy stuff that had gone down, starting with from John Bones Jones getting popped for PED use, to an amazing card where there's a number of new champions. But as a whole, the UFC 200, it was a pretty phenomenal card. What did you think?
I thought it was a great card on paper. I didn't think that some of the fights really played out how everyone was expecting them to do. But other than that, there was really exciting and really technical fights on the card. And as a fight fan, I really enjoyed that.
Okay, let's just touch on the main event, which I think should have been the main event. The first one I want to talk about is Brock Lesnar versus Mark Hunt. What did you think about that fight?
I thought Brock did what he had to do. I was a little disappointed in Hunt for not really pushing the pace, but as a counter fighter, it's really hard to change what you've been doing your entire career. Even though the openings are there, I thought Brock did a good job of staying on the outside, really confusing Hunt with some of his shots. And, he looked fantastic for someone that hasn't been in the ring for 5 years.
Now, and I agree with you. I thought Brock fought an incredibly smart fight. I thought he was very, very tactical. I think, though, one of the things is that Mark Hunt's not used to seeing someone that's that much bigger across from him. And I think he gave Brock a lot more respect than anyone really thought he would. I thought he would press Brock a lot more, but in the end, I thought the sheer size of Brock actually was the biggest factor on what kept Mark Hunt at bay. And, once Brock was able to take him to the ground, also once Brock was able to get a comfort level in there, because you could tell he had some jitters. Once those jitters went away, I thought Brock definitely started putting together his game plan. And it was kind of like the game plan he had against Frank Mir.
Well, the thing about Brock, other than his size, is his speed. I mean, there's nobody in the heavyweight division that moves as fast as Lesnar. And Hunt was surprised by a lot of those shots. And once he was able to get his hands on him, Brock really surprised him with the power that he had. I mean, if you look at some of the takedowns that he had against the cage.
Ooh, boy.
I mean, Hunt was so shocked by that he just picked him up. And even Hunt was grabbing the fence because it just startled him so much. And
have you ever seen anyone pick up Mark Hunt like that before?
Absolutely not. No way, no how. I haven't seen that ever.
There was one time he was against the fence. Hunt was prepared for him to pick him up, and he had his best takedown defense. Brock just picked him completely up off the ground like a rag doll and just dropped him back down.
Yeah, we saw Stipe confuse Mark with a combination of striking and wrestling, but this was just pure wrestling in what Brock used to subdue Hunt. And once he got him on the ground, I mean, honestly, he could have finished the fight from there, but he was playing it relatively safe, and he didn't want to lose position, so he didn't choose to sit up on mount or just really push the action in terms of pulling off some submissions. But it was a really smart fight overall from Brock.
Yes, it was, and it was impressive. Now, that opens up the question of what's next for Brock Lesnar. He didn't really give us an answer on what's next. But I thought he did give us a kind of a take where he says, who knows what will happen. And I took it as his WWE contract, if I believe this correctly, is up in March. I would not be surprised if he doesn't sign with the UFC right after that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had another fight. I mean, it's really close to March, but maybe they can fit it in. I think Vince saw some of the dollar figures that they benefited from with having Brock having really like a co-promotion with the WWE and the UFC. So I think that both parties really benefited from this. Brock got paid for this fight. I mean, they disclosed a $2.5 million payday for him, and we're not even counting pay-per-view points and some of the cross-promotional incentives that there were there.
Brock comes out of this whole thing smelling like roses. I mean, he did everything right. He risked everything, but he gained the world. And what I mean by why he risked everything is, I look at the situation many years ago with Ken Shamrock, where he was wrestling the WWE, and he was billed as the baddest man on the planet. And then he was determined that he wanted to have a match in MMA. And he got beat down. And from that, because he got beat down, it pretty much ended his wrestling career because they couldn't use that spin anymore that he was the baddest man on the planet because everyone just saw him get crushed. Brock was risking that same thing, but Brock came in. He fought a guy that no one thought he was going to. I mean, most of the experts were taking Mark Hunt. I took Mark Hunt. William took Mark Hunt. So everyone was expecting him to come in with 5 years of rust. They thought Mark Hunt would catch him with an uppercut, and he would be the newest satellite around the globe here. But no, it didn't happen that way. Brock really put his presence down and fought a really smart fight. He won. Everyone is clamoring to see him again in the UFC, and it makes his value with the WWE go through the roof, especially when he only has a few fights left at the WWE before he can renegotiate a brand new contract. He's going to get paid from this fight.
I don't think this is the last time that we see Brock in the octagon. Just looking at him in terms of his history, two-time NCAA champion, moved on to do professional wrestling, really wasn't challenged by that, so he thought he could make a shot at the NFL. Got dropped by Minnesota Vikings during their preseason, and he went back to wrestling, and he was just really not satisfied with where he was. He wanted to really harness that competitive desire in him, and he chose to challenge himself in the UFC. And he went through some health issues and went back to WWE because it was less taxing on his body, got everything sorted out there, and then he went back to the UFC because he felt that he had unfinished business. And what he did to Hunt, I think that really opened a lot of confidence in his mind, because he was able to bounce back and fight a contender and really just dominate the contender. And now he's going to have some questions like, if I come back, I think I could be champion. Why don't I come back? I mean, I
agree with you. I think this is the last fight you will see of Brock Lesnar while he's under contract with the WWE. But when that contract comes up, and I'm almost positive that I thought I saw it's like March or April when it's up. From that point on, I could totally see him signing a big deal with the UFC and actually going for the title. Especially that opens up a situation where, especially if Cain Velasquez actually wins the championship, a rematch between Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez is a very desirable situation for the UFC. So I can definitely see that as a possibility.
I can definitely see that as well, but once he's facing someone that's more offensive-minded, I don't think that he's going to have the same success that he had against Hunt. He was really scared of those shots still, and that was something that was really alarming to me. No matter how much experience you have in this game, if you're still afraid to get hit or scared to get hit, then I don't know how you do against the upper echelon of the sport.
Well, in defense of him, technically he kind of took this fight kind of on short notice. He didn't have a full training camp. This will be a situation where his next fight, he'll get a true training camp. He'll get true practice of, being able to get accustomed to being hit. I think you'll see a much better fighter the next time Brock Lesnar steps in the ring. So, I look at this as Brock Lesnar light. And with that, he still beat the number 8 heavyweight in the world. And I think he'll just get better from there.
I hope so. I mean, part of me really hopes as a fan that we can go back in time and Brock and the UFC could have been around and really booming around the time that Brock was emerging from college. And I wanted to see what he would be like as a fully experienced fighter on both sides. I mean, he is an athletic specimen like no other. So I think that he can still be fantastic at the stand-up side, but his bread and butter is always wrestling.
No, I agree with you. I mean, it's kind of hard you can't go back, but and with Brock being 40, he's 39, he'll be 40 soon, or is he 40 already?
I think he's 39. His late 30s.
Yeah, he's 39. He's going to be 40 soon. I don't think Brock really has much more time left, but I do think Brock has a year or two where he could actually contend and maybe take a shot at the title. So I definitely see there's a window available for him to make a comeback, especially with his contract coming up so soon. But with that, we got quite a few more fights to cover. So we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the main event, Miesha Tate versus Amanda Nunes, and how we have a brand new bantamweight champion. And we'll be back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Okay, we're back, and we just finished talking about the Mark Hunt-Brock Lesnar fight, and now we're going to roll into the main event. William, Miesha Tate got rolled. And I saw when Miesha got hit, when she was really in trouble, and I didn't think any of the announcers or anyone noticed it. I thought when she got hit in the nose and she fell back, I'm like, oh my God, she's in trouble. And no one else said anything, but then she just kept coming. Amanda Nunes kept coming on her and just pounding her. And Miesha started taking some nasty hits. Were you surprised by this outcome?
Nunes is the most dangerous in the first round. So if I thought that she had any chance to defeat her, it was going to be there. And when I was watching that fight, I didn't think that Miesha looked the same as she used to. I didn't see some of the fight and desire that she previously had. I know that she's really tough and she has made a career out of comebacks. But I just didn't see some of the hunger there. And when I was watching some of the press conference, she said that she had a lot of issues with that weight cut. And she was undergoing situations with vertigo throughout the fight. And then if you have that and you have someone like Amanda Nunes, I was really impressed by her because she took her time in chasing her down, and we didn't see what some of the mistakes that she's done in the past where she's overly aggressive when she's looking for the finish and she has someone hurt. She really took her time and pinpointed some of the strikes, which she addressed in her post-fight interview. She said that, I know that Miesha is always ready to come back and she's really tough, so I really took my time and picked my shots.
Now, what I'm going to comment on is there's a couple of things when I look at this fight and how it went down. The first thing that popped in my head is something that Ronda Rousey has always said, and that is, it's so much easier to win the championship. It's way harder to defend the championship. And one of the things that you have is a situation where, you don't get a chance to just concentrate on just making weight or just your opponent. You have all this media obligations. You have all the photo shoots. You have everything that goes into it to be the champion. And because of that, I think that's what it ultimately affected Miesha Tate, because instead of concentrating on, training and making weight, Miesha's schedule was all thrown off. Miesha's never had a problem making weight before. This is the first time because in other times it's just, let me concentrate on my weight cut. That's it. That's all I have to worry about. This time she's going into the weigh-in, and she has to weigh in completely nude because she's having trouble with weight. So the obligations, I feel, the obligations of being champ affected her weight cut. The weight cut affected her overall performance in the fight, and because of that, Amanda Nunes is now the champ.
Yeah, but can't take away any credit from Nunes. Some of those shots and some of her striking that she displayed in the bout was a true improvement from what we've seen from her. And also, it just shows how great of a champion Ronda was.
Oh, absolutely it does.
The dominance that she had, given that she was close to clearing out the division, and now that she's not the champion anymore, we've seen Holly Holm lose in her first defense, we've seen Miesha lose in her first defense, and we'll see what Nunes does. But there's a crop of really exciting fights in the bantamweight division. It's kind of a crazy state right now. I'm not sure what happens next. There's so many different contenders, and maybe you'll have Ronda coming back. So there's a lot of question marks in this division. The whole reason why Holly Holm got the fight with Ronda Rousey was because Ronda had wiped out the top 10. They were trying to find people to put in the ring with her. Ronda's gone less than a year, and that whole division has been reseeded and has blossomed. And now this division is as tough as it comes. Now with this. And I go back to the fight, and I look at the outcome of the fight. One of the things that everyone knew, including Miesha Tate, is don't mess with Amanda Nunes in the first round. Amanda has always been a force in the first round. I think she should have, and you can tell me your take on this, William, but
I think she should have adopted more of a kind of Brock Lesnar, kind of Daniel Cormier approach to the first round, where it was just be very cautious, take her down, wear her down, wait for a couple rounds, and then make it ugly. I thought Miesha tried to exchange with her and kind of push her will on Amanda Nunes, which was a bad decision. And I would have told you it was a bad decision even before the fight.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. But the thing about Tate is that she always comes to fight, and she always comes to bring it in the first round, no matter who the opponent is. I mean, it's really surprising. She just comes face first, and she just tries to land some bombs, really assert her will on the fight. But we saw her pay for that in this fight. I mean, every single fight she started off trying to be the aggressor and really not taking that grappling approach until it's necessary. But this time she didn't get an opportunity to.
I know there was a big deal about the fact that Amanda Nunes is the first openly gay champion in the UFC. I don't, that part doesn't matter to me because, I just look at her as a great talent. Who she dates and what she does outside the ring as far as her personal life, I don't think that I don't really like that as a storyline for her, because I think it undermines what she's done. She's an amazing fighter with a lot of power and a lot of force, and I applaud her for coming in with a game plan to literally smash Miesha Tate. What's your take on the whole spin about she's the first openly lesbian or openly gay UFC champion?
I'm fine with that. I'm happy about it because from a PR perspective, there's always going to be a spin on fighters to make them more appealing to the masses and really promote some of their strengths rather than anything else. So I mean, we see that with Ronda Rousey, how she was Olympic medalist. We've seen it with Sarah McMahon, Olympic medalist, and now we see it with Nunes, a poor girl from Brazil, LGBT community activist. And I think there's a lot of power in that. And I really applaud the UFC. They are really open and progressive in their approach to the LGBT community. And it's only going to increase with Nunes. And I hope that it inspires a lot of other athletes as well as just regular citizens to really be empowered by some of the things that Amanda has done. But that's from personal side. Athletic side, she is a great fighter.
No, and don't get me wrong. I am very proud of her as far as her stance on being very active and being very proud of who she is. And I just look at it as, and maybe that's because being an African American male, it's very important to be judged on, what you do instead of who you are. And Amanda is just a force. And I applaud her, but I do applaud the UFC for being. There's some organizations that would kind of hide that. They actually took an approach of embracing it. So I do tip my hat to them on that.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that, especially with all the things happening in the world right now. It's really a powerful statement for them to have.
What's next for Amanda Nunes? What's next for Miesha Tate?
Ooh, I think you compare Miesha Tate against Kat Zingano again. She lost earlier in this night against Juliana Pena, and I mean I wouldn't be too sad about a Pena Nunes fight or even a Holly Holm fight, given everything that happens in the upcoming weeks.
I will give you my stone cold lead pipe lock of the week. Okay, here it is. And Williams looked at me like, what? My stone cold lock of the week is this. Amanda Nunes will be fighting Ronda Rousey either in New York or sometime at the beginning of the year. And Miesha Tate may be on the exact same card fighting Chris Cyborg.
I'm down. I'd love to see that.
You're like, okay, no problem with that.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, if it doesn't hold the division up and it makes a lot of sense, then I'm happy with that, and those are some good fights.
Okay, Let's move on to my dream matchup. I really wish this fight would have been an actual event instead of hey, you're coming in to take pictures and sign autographs in Vegas. Hey, Anderson, why don't you fight Daniel Cormier? I would love to have seen this fight as a real event. Daniel Cormier versus Anderson Silva. Anderson, he took one for the team. He truly took one for the team. And I didn't like the fact, the first thing I want to state is I applaud Anderson Silva and I applaud Daniel Cormier for taking this fight, because a lot of fighters would have been like, nope, and John Jones is out. I'm done. I'm going home. But Daniel Cormier was like, I want to fight. Anderson Silva was, he wanted to do this because he said he wanted to show his sons that, you can do whatever you set your mind to. So just go ahead, if that's what you want to do it. So I applaud them. I did not like the fact that in the end, Anderson deserved every applause he received and 20,000 more. I didn't like the boos. I didn't like the boos for Daniel Cormier, because Daniel Cormier has been nothing but a stand-up guy, a superstar champion, and an ambassador to the UFC. If anything, the entire arena should have stood up and gave them both a standing ovation, because both of those guys are class acts and deserved to be recognized for what they did.
I mean, I understand both sides. I mean, the fans were really expecting something different. You can't really knock the masses for their thoughts on that. They were looking for, a wrestler versus striker matchup, what they kind of got, but it wasn't what they were expecting. I mean, you have fans that are flying in all over the world. They're looking to be entertained, and from their perspective, it probably wasn't as entertaining as they wanted it to be. So I can understand from that aspect. And I know the athletes, it bugs them a little bit, but they can see the light to that. I think DC definitely saw the light to it. He's rested in the post conference. He did what he had to do in this fight, and in my opinion, I thought he took it a little bit easy on Anderson.
I disagree with you on that. And some people have taken that approach, that they think he took it easy on Anderson. I thought Anderson, for what was given to him, I thought he did a good job. I thought Cormier did exactly the smart thing, which is he didn't want to trade with Anderson, so he took him to the ground, which was smart, just like he said. And at the end of that third round, Anderson cracked Daniel Cormier and hurt him. Hurt him bad, actually. And even in an interview I saw when I was on Fight Pass, Daniel Cormier talks about at the very end of the fight, he hit him with a shot that made his whole body freeze up, and that he wanted to just reach over and just hold on to him and hug him, because he was hurt that bad. Did you see that shot? And what do you think would have happened if there would have been another 2 more rounds after that?
Oh, I saw that shot. He definitely hurt him, and Daniel wanted nothing but to grab him and just hold on, because he knew he had that victory in hand. I mean, if he wasn't coasting to the victory, which I saw him throughout the fight, he was smiling, he was talking to Anderson. It seemed like he was having a good time, given all the circumstances and everything leading up to this fight.
I thought they both were having kind of even Anderson, I thought, were having too good of a time for them to be punching each other in the face.
Yeah, and there's a lot of telltale signs at the end of the fight where they're like, "Yeah, we just got paid. Let's hug and kiss." I mean, this is awesome. Thank you for saving the event. Thank you for this opportunity.
I thought it was more
happy.
Thank you. It was like mutual admiration, not we got paid.
They got to be thinking about that. I mean, Anderson stepped in on 2 days. DC was about to have an entire paycheck taken away from him if no one stepped up. And I'm happy that they were able to get this opportunity. I just wish that we saw more of an event for this, more preparation on both sides, and it could have been actual no excuses on both sides. Let's fight.
Yeah, I agree. And and Daniel said the reason why he took such a cautious approach was, it was so hard for him to lose to John Jones, but he knew that if he lost to John Jones, he could get back in the picture and he could get a rematch with Jones. But with Anderson, he said the thing that scared him the most with Anderson is this. If he fights Anderson and Anderson cracks him and takes him out, Anderson's not going to stay in his weight class. Anderson's going to go right back down and contend for a title in another division, and a division that he can't get to. So his biggest fear was losing to Anderson and then Anderson leaving the division and he could never fight him again. So he intentionally took a very cautious approach with Anderson.
Yeah, that would have been really bad for him to lose to Anderson Silva, because Silva would just leave the division, basically put the division on hold, because you have the champion losing to a middleweight contender, basically. But I got to say, if DC approached Jones in the same fashion that he fought Silva with, I don't know who wins. I definitely have Jones winning that fight. I mean, I don't
think he would approach him Jones that way, though.
Yeah, but I didn't see anything different from DC in terms of how he performed on the night. I didn't really see how he could have really challenged the Jones that we've seen in the past. Maybe the Jones that showed up against OSP, but not the one pre-suspension.
And I hate to say this because it's Daniel's. I think this should be all about praising Daniel, but everything I saw, even the guy that fought OSP, I still would have taken Bones to win that fight.
Yeah, but I'm a huge DC fan.
I'm a huge fan as well.
And I just wanted to see something more out of him. But you can always attribute that to some of the stress that he had leading up to this fight. I mean, no one's gone through some of these changes and still showed up and fought for the fans and fought for his family and everything like that. No
one in history has had this kind of a situation. Also, Anderson is so different than Jones. He trained for Jones, so you never really know. But this was actually, we've kind of ran over on covering the first 3 fights. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make this into 2 episodes. The first episode where we're just talking about the main 3 cards, which there was really 3 main events, and that's what we wanted to talk about. We wanted to talk about the sale of the UFC, Miesha Tate losing her title to Amanda Nunes, the return of Brock Lesnar, and then our ambassador fight of the week, which was Daniel Cormier, Anderson Silva. On our next show, we will be covering part 2 of this, where we're going to actually dive into Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar, return of a healthy Cain Velasquez, Juliana Pena Katzengano. We're going to talk about Johnny Hendricks, TJ Dillashaw, and Sage Northcutt, and then we're also going to talk about the Ultimate Fighter finale as well. So that episode will be coming up shortly. Stay tuned. And so we're going to wrap things up. Remember to always follow us by going to www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on iTunes and Twitter, and you can download us on. I said that wrong. I said you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. With that, good night, and I'll talk to you guys later.